What's going on, Chazz?
How you doing today, big brother?
Man, I am as excited as I can be because we have someone in the house, man, and we're going to let him loose in about another 2 or 3 minutes. Okay. But I want to just come on this afternoon and say I'm very excited, man. I've been getting a lot of buzz, man, and I can't wait so that we're not going to interrogate the brother too much. We're just going to ask a few questions and kind of let him guide and direct us since he's the guest. So we're going to let him do the majority of the talking tonight. So for all those who are watching this broadcast can be seen every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. And then also we want you to know that we appreciate you all for tuning in because you didn't have to tune in. But from the bottom of Chazz in my heart, we'd like to thank you for tuning in. It's very important to us that you listen to broadcasts and podcasts that's positive, uplifting, and going to help our people because we truly need help. So having said that, Chazz, tonight we're going to bring on a brother that's going to talk about the truth has come. And I know you got a chance to meet the brother yesterday a little bit. What you think of him?
Yeah, he was a sharp brother. Like I said, energized. He was full of wisdom. Even in his newspaper, he had a lot of good information in it. So, yeah, I'm very, very happy to have this brother on today.
Okay, well, let me set some rules real quick. I want to set some rules, and here are the rules. The rules are as follows. When we have a guest on Adults Only, all we ask for is that you respect them. Respect is required. You may not agree with our guest, but you must respect him or her. Listen before you react or respond by commenting or asking an intelligent question. Disagreement is okay, but disrespect is not. You may challenge one's ideal, but do not attack this person. Disrespect has consequences on Adults Only Real Conversations, and these are the consequences. I'm going to lay it out now. If you disrespect our guests or this platform, you will be blocked and removed because we protect this space and everyone in it. So having laid the ground rules, Chazz, I think it's time for us to bring the brother on, man, because we've been rambling and talking, and we need to get this brother on so we can see what he wants to talk about tonight from his information that he shared with us. So let's
put him on in.
Okay, I'll bring him in right now. Hey, what's going on, brother?
Everything's fine, brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hope y'all doing well this afternoon. And thank you, first of all. Thank both of you for bringing me on and being a guest on your esteemed show.
Okay.
And so I look forward to engaging with everyone and having a good discussion. The lively art of conversation, as I once heard it said.
Okay, good. I just want to start off by saying we thank you for being a guest on this show, man. A lot of times, we have people who talk about wanting to come on, but then when it's time to get down, they kind of MIA. But I met you at Mama Linda's, and man, we hit it off at the outset. You were an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. You were selling the final card. You were selling your newspaper, Muhammad Speaks, I should say now, and I was selling calendars. So we just exchanged. We did some business together, and from that, you're on the broadcast, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As they say, fair exchange is no robbery. We help each other. One hand wash the other. They both come out clean.
Now you're a contributing writer on the editorial board of Lost and Found Nation of the Nation of Islam.
On the paper that we have, yes, sir. And let me first start off by, saying that everything that I'm about to discuss now, the author of my thought process is the all-wise, true and living God who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad and raised from among us his last and greatest messenger Elijah Muhammad. It is from that fountain of wisdom that I started drinking from 36 years ago. Okay. Everything that I bring is from that fountain of wisdom, brother.
Wow.
Yes, sir. So the brothers who the newspaper that I wrote the article in is some brothers that we came together. We call ourselves Muhammad's Temple United.
Mm-hmm.
And we came together from various parts of the country, and we've established this newspaper. So this is our second paper that we published. Okay. And so I contributed and wrote an article in there. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I'm fast. I know you want to get in, Chad. I know you want to get in. You chomping at the bits, but go ahead. Well, you're going to say some, Chad, because I want to put a couple of comments up here and then we'll see what we want to do with those.
Yes, sir. Like I said, I did go and read your newspaper, and at the beginning of it, you talked about how the music back then had meaning, unlike today's music. And in your opinion, what do you think changed between that generation back then and then this generation now between the music genre?
Well, the flow of the culture, brother. You know, in the '60s, in that article, the song I put in there about Smokey Robinson, the love I saw in you was just a mirage. You know, in the '60s, a lot of those songs, you know, we were at that time. If you examine where we were as far as culturally concerned, it was more conscious.
Right.
It was more about building up community. You know, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. Right. We're a Winner by Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions. You know, songs of those type of natures. You know, you're a younger brother, but I'm sure Brother Jahi can, you know, knows a little bit more. I mean, but I'm sure you've heard.
Yeah, he's played them enough.
You know, I was, you know, I was there as a little boy, of course, but these were the type of songs we came up on. Okay. Then, now, keep in mind what was going on in the '70s. I mean, the '60s rather. It was a cultural upheaval, and that cultural upheaval was really spurred by the civil rights movement.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people don't know that, but the civil rights movement was what inspired the cultural upheaval by Caucasians. You know, you had a root movement called the hippies and the yippies and things of that nature. Then you had the sexual revolution. Then you had the revolution of the feminist revolution. All of these came as a result of what was going on in the '60s. Okay. So in the '70s, music started to shift. I'm a teenager in the '70s. You know, pretty soon, matter of fact, later this year, I'll be going to my 50th year reunion out of high school, God willing.
Okay.
And so in 1976, I got out of high school in Chicago. And at that time, music started to shift. I can tell you exactly when. When Parliament came on board, Mothership, P-Funk.
Yeah.
That was a different, at that time, that music was revolutionary. Because before then you had R&B, love songs, things of this nature. But then Parliament came along, Bootsy Collins, and Rick James, Prince. And so then, you know, then of course hip hop started in the late '70s. Right. And then, you know, so it just started you know, evolving. But that '70s kind of, you know, that's when things started to shift.
Okay.
And then, you know, they shift a little here and they shift a little there. And next thing you know, the snowball started rolling. Yeah. And then we got away from some of those things.
Now, in your article in Muhammad Speaks Now, Volume 1, Issue 2, Brother Rasheed, you wrote an article entitled "The Truth Has Come. Falsehood neither originates nor reproduces." That's what we're going to talk about a little bit now. And I'm going to let
are we freezing?
Yeah, can y'all see it now?
I hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Go ahead. Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead, Chazz. What's this all about?
So why did you choose the subject, "The Truth Has to Come"? What made you come to that subject?
Well, when you say the truth, when saying the truth has come, of course, I'm not the originator of it. I picked it from something I read in the Holy Quran, which is the book of scripture for the Muslim. So, so it was a segment I read in there, and I said, based on just thinking about that, it kind of fits where we are. And when you say the truth has come, well, what does that imply? That the truth wasn't here.
Yes, sir. Teach, man.
So when you have to come to realize once the truth is not here, then that means if a universe is built in truth, let's say as we say in the Nation of Islam, Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam. It can be proven at no limit of time. Like 1 and 1 is 2. I don't care what language you speak. I don't care how you slice it. If you say 1 and 1 is 4, we automatically know something is wrong with you.
Right.
Because that's not precise. Mathematics is the most precise science in the universe. So mathematics is true. But we live in a world where we in a fantasy land. We are sold dreams, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You know, I used to know guys in the street say, "I'm gonna sell you a dream." You know, and they be talking that slick talk. You know, I'm from Chicago. You know, I know the people on the street. I already know how it goes.
Right.
But anyway, we've been sold dreams by the larger society. You can, you know, the American, what they call it? Let's go back.
The American
dream, isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's what they call it. So that's to let you know right there. We've been sold a dream. But they say dream don't mean nothing till you wake up. That's you know, you can dream all day, but while you dreaming, you sleep.
Man, it's
right.
So now we have to wake up from that dream and we have to get into reality.
Yes, sir.
So, if the truth has come, that means it hadn't been here. And you know, you look at the people who run this world. You can look at what's going on right now with the president. It's hard to find truth when you listen to this guy.
Right.
So I'm just going into how I came about the subject of truth, because there's so many lies. Number one,
right? Chazz, I want you to welcome some of those who are tuned in to the broadcast as you traditionally do. So these are some of those who are watching this broadcast as we speak right now.
Okay, Sister Mashonda fires in here. She says, Hotep. We appreciate her for logging in. Sister Barbara, she fires in here. She says, Hotep brothers. We appreciate her. Sister Nucci fires in here. She says, peace and blessings from Supreme Lioness. We appreciate her. Sister Marie fires in here. She says, Hotep brothers. We appreciate her.
And I'm going to let Brother Rasheed handle this one, because I believe this may be someone who he may know.
So yes, sir, Brother Stuart Musa. Walaikum salam, brother. Yes, sir. Thank you for tuning in. Fareed Muhammad. That was another one of my brothers.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
appreciate y'all.
Chicago.
Yeah, they out today, aren't they, brother?
Yes, Fareed is from Chicago. This is a long-time soldier, and Stuart is from Austin, Texas. Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir. Okay. Peace and blessings to everyone. Thank you for joining.
All right. Now, how did the verse Surah relate to the world in which we're living in?
Well, again, this is a world that basically, man, you know, we are sold things that they're made to appear good. That's one of the reasons I use the song "The Love I Saw in You Was Just a Mirage."
Yes, sir.
Because you know it looks good. It looks good, and it you know it whets your appetite. But then you get up to it and like, oh man, it's not what it was.
Right.
You know, and that you know, I say that, you know, from, you know, my own living experience, and my viewing everything in my circumference.
Yes,
that,
sir.
You know, just the things that we chase that have very little meaning when it's all said and done.
Okay.
We've been sold basically a world of individualism. Okay, you can get yours, and you know you can get out the hood. I remember hearing a brother say years ago he wanted to pay his 25 cents and get out the race, meaning out the black race. Because okay, you know we want to get away from each other. You know they tell you want to make it out. You want to make it out the ghetto. You don't want to improve the ghetto, make it better, so it ain't no ghetto. We don't want to do that. We just want to get out and leave them rest behind.
Right.
We think about ourselves. So we thinking on this short term, myopic, which short-sighted. You know, we're not really thinking for the whole, and so we're looking for these quick fixes, and they say short-term gain being long. We have to get rooted in truth. Right. So that we can start to improve our position and condition.
Right.
And the first truth, let's be truthful about ourselves as a people.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Somebody named Shabazz, he fires in here. He
Shabazz,
says peace to the
yes,
brothers.
that's one of my Facebook brothers. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm living God. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay.
You know, the eloquence and the truth that's, you know, capturing my ears and my heart, man, is beautiful, man. I'm glad that a brother's being able to tell us the truth unequivocally without, you know, kowtowing and bucking and jiving, and just being honest, because as a people, as you're mentioning, when you look at us, there's a lot of things that have happened to us. And I'm going to surprise you right now because you didn't know I was going to do this. So I want you to sit back and I'm going to play a clip. It's only a minute long, but on the other side of the clip, I want you to tear this information up that you hear, and you're going to be really, really happy to hear someone that we all love that taught us how to love ourselves and how to love truth and how to eat and how to think. So having said that, I want you to sit back, Brother Rasheed, and after this clip, I want you to take it away.
Yes, sir.
North. Elijah Muhammad, the man from Georgia they call the messenger of God, gave this rare interview to Panorama.
The poor so-called American Negro has never been taught who he was. He came here and was put under slavery, and there his knowledge of self was buried. And he has been trying to act and imitate his master, not himself nor his kind. And he lost all knowledge of self and all love for self. He has not even had any love for self, nor his kind. He was robbed of all of that. His love went for the white man and not for himself and his kind. And he became a hater of himself. We want to live on this earth as a nation as you. We don't want to be you. We, the Muslim, we don't want to be you. If you want to be us, that's up to you.
Okay, brother, what you got?
Yes, sir. That's my messenger. Yes, sir. And as I was saying in the article, the truth has come. What was a lie about it? Well, he didn't say anything that was incorrect. Going back to say Islam is mathematics. Mathematics is Islam. It can be proven at no limit of time. So he gave you 1 + 1 and made sure that it equaled 2. He told us how we got here. He told us what happened. Okay, so let's go back to this truth and illusion versus illusion.
Okay.
How did we get here? Let's start there. So we got here, as the messenger said, we got here in 1555. A lot of people say 1619. And let's say I heard in my reading studies, however you want to word it, that the first person who got off the boat in Virginia, the first sister, her name was Phyllis or something to that effect. Now let's go back to truth. If her name was Phyllis, what happened to make her name Phyllis? It wasn't Phyllis on the continent. And why did she accept Phyllis? Let's think about these things. Why did she accept Phyllis? Because her parents before them were killed off. The messenger said we were brought here in 1555. By 1619, the essence of us had been stripped. All right, you're talking 3 generations. And of course, you remember that they said it was a crime and a punishment to read. Is that right? Is this truth or is this falsehood? So it was a crime to read. So if she accepted the name Phyllis, that meant that she didn't know what her name was until they told her.
Wow, it's terrible.
That was the start. You know, it's a saying. They say the premise determines the conclusion. So if the premise is false, the conclusion got to be false, because that's how you start. We started off with 1 and 1 plus made 3. And we've been building off 1 and 1 made 3 ever since. So at some point, if it's any such thing as justice, then we have to be resurrected. We have to be brought into the light of truth, because truth has been withheld from us. Mm. And so we look toward the slave master because we didn't have nothing else to look towards. The messenger in the Theology of Time, in his Theology of Time series, he said that the slave master, once he completely dumbed us down, he said, okay, if you don't want my religion, what religion do you have?
Right.
So, okay, well, we didn't have a religion. What we had is what he gave us. Now, he studied us. He studied us, you know, in our lessons, it said that the slave master, the slave maker, bought a trading post where we came from. Now, he bought that trading post, and when he bought that trading post, he was studying us. He didn't just come up and say, come on, let's get on this boat. He studied our actions. He saw what kind of people we were.
Right.
He saw that we were people that had a respect for the planet, a respect for each other. He saw that we were spiritual and a loving people. Mm-hmm. So he had to come up amongst us in a way that we would respect. So he came amongst us on the ship called Jesus of Lubeck, you know, and he said that we would have more gold for our labor, more than we were earning in our own country. And as our lessons say, well, what happened after that? He disappeared, and when he disappeared, there was no one to speak our language. So now we are caught over here with a strange people in a strange land. And then, so now they took all that knowledge out of us. Remember, again, the lady's name was Phyllis. Let's go. I'm gonna stay on that, because see, that's the key right there. All right. So by the time they took that glass, poured everything out, put what they wanted to put in it, now they don't have to have the body no more. They got the mind. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a saying that he who controls the circumference of your activity controls the diameter of your movement. So you know, so he set the standard here. What we do now is all on his terms. That's why I like going back to what I was saying. If there's a such thing as justice, we can forget about God, devil, all that. Let's talk about justice. So, you know, you hear people talk about all the time, karma gonna get so and so. Oh, they're gonna get karma. Well, what about karma about the people who brought us here? They don't get no karma. Karma just skip by and pass them. And the killing part is most of us don't want them to get karma. God bless America. You know, America's what destroyed us.
Yeah.
America already been blessed. So you know, America. When you think about it, America only been the dominant country not even 100 years. And so you know what made America the dominant country was World War II and the atomic bomb. One day, and you know, they didn't drop that on Germany, who kicked the war off. They didn't drop it on Germany. They dropped it on Japan, the Brown brothers. You understand? But that's what made them the dominant power. Then after that, here comes the CIA. Here comes the IMF, the World Bank, and the IMF. What is the IMF, the Monetary Fund, Interplanetary Money. I can't think of, you know, it's called the IMF. Y'all know. Yes. Anyway, that controlled the money for the third world. So now that's how long the West has been in control. So how did they get there? Let's talk about it. 310 years of free labor. 310 years of free labor. We were the first people traded commodity traded in Wall Street. So we sit here, we look at our neighborhoods and they look like shambles, and their neighborhoods look well. Of course,
yeah.
We were colonized. We were brought here, stripped of nothing. Everything that happened under their jurisdiction. So you mean to tell me ain't no karma coming behind that? See, so if it's a such thing as justice, we better buckle our seatbelts.
There you go.
Yeah. Now, coming back to justice, we have to be just to ourselves. And there's a prayer in the Muslim prayer saying, I've been unjust to myself, and I confess my faults. So grant me protection from all my faults. So we have been unjust to ourselves because we have not looked toward ourselves to build ourselves.
Wow.
We've been looking to them. Help me, man.
This is a good moment, brother.
You just want to be your brother.
There you go. This is a good moment to say that you all are watching Adults Only Real Conversations. And we have today as our guest our brother Rasheed Shabazz, and we just sitting here gleaming in the information that he's sharing with us. Hopefully it's waking all of us up because his truths are so practical, and that's what I like about the brother. He's very eloquent and articulate, and he's just giving us food, not just for thought, food for life. And to those who have just tuned in, you are looking at Adults Only Real Conversations with Chazz and Jahi. This broadcast can be seen every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. And so we welcome those who are tuning in for the first time, and we hope this won't be your last. Brother Shabazz, you are really, really blessing us. And I know Chazz has another question for you because he always have questions for you. I'm gonna put it on the screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In your estimation in the law of nature, how does it apply to us as people?
Well, I guess when you say the law of nature, could you clarify that a little bit, bro? Please.
In your article, you mentioned the laws of nature, and then we start talking about.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the natural order of things, brother. You know, the natural order of things is that you reap and you plant and you plant and you harvest. You reap and you sow. Freedom, justice, and equality. All of that is in the law of nature. You know, it's something else I talked about as far as the law of nature is concerned, about how we get to a point where when we die, okay, we've been taught all our lives that, okay, when you die, you're going to come back or you going somewhere else. But when you get to the point, you get to death's doorstep, if there's anything that can be done to save you, you're not saying, no, let me go and catch up with my ancestors. You're not saying, let me go and I'll be back to tell you about it tomorrow. You trying to stick around. That's the law of nature. Natural. Nature is natural. You know, you hear people talk about supernatural. I would like somebody to tell me what supernatural is, because I have no idea. It's either natural or it's not. So that's nature right there. You get to death doorstep, you know this. Your senses kick in. I don't care how much you've been taught. Your senses kick in. This is it, man. I'm trying to stick around. I don't care if I got one leg, half an arm. It don't matter. I'm trying to stay here because I don't know nothing. What was old Sam Cooke? I told you about them 60 songs. Sam Cooke say, in change that come, he say, it's been too hard living, but I don't want to die because I don't know what's up there. I understand. Nature, brother.
Yes, sir.
That's
yes,
natural.
Sir. Yes.
This is the only life that we know about. This is the only life that we need to be trying to preserve. What's natural is we're going to have children, offspring, grandchildren coming behind us. That's natural. Let's put something in their head so they can stick around here. I hope I answered your question. If I didn't,
you did, brother. You did. Perfect.
Yes, sir.
And can you explain what Allah doesn't change a person's condition until they change their own condition? Mean, how is this done by us?
Well, first thing we have to recognize the need for unity and group operation.
Teach on that, brother.
We have to recognize that nobody else is going to save us. Let's go back to nature now. That's unnatural, especially for a person who puts you in this condition to come back and say, okay, well, I'm gonna get you out of it. that would be undoing everything that he put into doing it. Can we agree on that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, he ain't gonna do it and say, okay, I didn't mean it. And he done get this old big country. He's the #1 power on the planet from 310 years of free labor. See, didn't nobody else get that.
Right.
Europe didn't get it. Germany didn't get it. Russia didn't get it. So it's no coincidence that the United States is top dog. You know, and the messenger in his teaching, he told us it's all written. The book of the prophets is not history, it's prophecy. We look at it like it happened yesterday, but you can't find nothing that stated happened yesterday. Everything that's described is happening today, but it's described in a symbolic language. So that symbolic language had to be unlocked. And that's what Messenger Elijah Muhammad did. He unlocked that symbolic language. You know, and so in the book of Daniel in the Bible, it talks about a beast who is dreadful. It says he's the 4th beast, and he was the most dreadful beast. And he had 3 ribs of a man in his mouth. And the messenger say that the man who was in the beast's mouth is us. That's symbolic language, brother. You know, it ain't talk. You know, they talk about a fish. The man stayed in a fish for 3 days and all that. That's garbage. It's absolute garbage. But then I just say fairy tales. Then I say fantasy land. We've been raised on it. I'm telling you, man. People believe this to this minute. You know, snakes talking, and all of this is symbolic language. Okay. The messenger broke that symbolic language down. He told us the snake is the human snake that taught us. The fish is the fish that swallowed us up for 300 years. You see? So now they've known this day was coming. The wise among them. That's another thing I speak of in this article about the 5 to 10% and 85%.
That's what we're going to talk about.
The wise people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So they know. They've been knowing this day is coming, bro. And so let me get back, because you asked me about a lot not changing the people's condition till we change our own. We got to recognize you can't change nothing until you recognize that it needs changing. You got to accept where you are and say, okay, man, I'm in a bad shape. You know, but if we ain't gonna accept where we are and we practicing escapism, and we getting lost in sport and play. Our religion, people talk about religion. Our religion is sport and play. Where the party at? Where the football game? Where the basketball game? Where you see Negroes almost get the boxing over a basketball game or a sport game. They almost see that's our religion. Religion is something that you practice, not what you preach. We practice sport and play, escapism. Thinking about some life after the sun, moon, and star, but ain't nobody who left here came back and said, "Okay, I was on the other side of the moon yesterday. You need to come on with me." I ain't heard nothing yet. I don't think nobody else have either. If you have, to tell me where it's at. You know, when you get high, you can hear a lot of things that you might not hear when you sober. So anyway, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, you've been saying like, and I'm glad that you're on, because the stuff that you're saying, it feels like me and some of the listeners here, we've been saying the same thing for years. You put it into play. And I had another quick question. You talked in the newspaper about how Elijah Muhammad, he called out the crooked politicians and the judges and how they don't have integrity. Why do you think that these politicians are crooked? And do you think that they have been all bought and paid off?
The short answer is yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been bought. And I say some of them start out with good intentions, brother. I don't believe that a lot of our people get in there and say, well, I'm gonna sell my people out.
Okay.
I just think that they start out with great intentions, and they say, but next thing you know, number one is this, bro. One thing we can learn from the Jews, and the messenger said in the message to the black man, he said, observe the white man. He makes no excuses for his failures. He works hard and he's successful. And he works hard in a collective manner. Maybe we should do the same.
Mm-hmm.
So there are things that we can use from these people. They work together in unity. They put their money together. They save money with each other, and they buy our politicians. You understand? But why do they buy our politicians? What are we doing with our money? But man, I got to get them new Jordans. I got to get that filth.
Yeah.
You understand? See, our priorities in the wrong place, bro.
Yeah.
Escapism. That was a song by James Brown. Escapism.
Mm-hmm.
See, you can't, until you face the problem, you can't fix it. And see, we don't want to face it, brother.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know what ignorance was bliss meant until I got this teaching. I heard it all my life. I came in this teaching, I was 31 years old, approaching 32. I'd be 68 Sunday, God willing.
Okay.
But I didn't know what I heard. Ignorance was bliss. Okay, it is, whatever. But when I got in this teaching, I understood. Our people don't want to know, bro. You happy running away from things. That's why we stay in sport and play so much. It was a song out in the 70s called Full Tilt Boogie. Now, full tilt, just think about that. Full tilt, brother. You lean all the way over to the floor.
Yes, sir.
But I'm not saying that we don't have no fun. I mean, in the condition that we're in, we really don't have time for it. But to expect that we're going to change overnight, that's unrealistic. I ain't even going there. Right. But at least let's get up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Let's let's do some half tilt boogie, a fourth of tilt boogie. Okay, but let's not. We happy full tilt. We trying to get fuller than full. We ain't trying to just do full tilt. Give me some more.
Yes, sir.
But we can't change. That's why we can't change our condition. That's why I say Allah don't change your condition until you change it. God is in man. It's not a spook in space. A spook in space ain't done nothing for us, brother.
Okay.
There's a lesson in the teaching say, will you sit at home and wait on that mystery God to bring you food? Our people did that for 379 years. And we was beat and killed by the ones who advocated that type of God. And we didn't have none but hunger and sickness, hunger, and out of doors. I'm not quoting it exactly, but that's paraphrased. But that's true. God works through us. And then when we realize that and then start exercising the Godship in ourselves, then we'll be better along.
There you go. A big quick commercial break. I wanted to tell everyone to tune in to the John and Kev show. That's a broadcast that Brother Kevin Lewis and myself, we do every first and third Tuesday of the month. And the brother is powerful, like this brother here that we're listening to, Brother Shabazz, Kevin and I. We have a wonderful time because we talk about issues that we need to discuss. And we don't just talk about issues. We're also solution-based. because a lot of the rhetoric that we use is just rhetoric, but we have to be practical because a lot of our people are hurting now. So once again, I want you to tune in to the the Kev show. That's every first and third Tuesday at 6:30 Central Standard Time. And so as Brother Shabazz continued to help us, enlighten us, and teach us, those who have comments or questions, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to put your question or comment up so we can address that, because this brother here, this is what a broadcast is about. It's not about going back and forth, dominating. It's about letting a guest deal with the issues that's on his heart so that we can all learn and glean from this brother. And I thank him for coming out, helping us today, as we can see some more comments by sisters and brothers who really appreciate it. But here's something, brother, we want you to address. The sister says, how about we as the people get on the good foot?
Yes. That's right. The good foot is the right foot, you know. And you know, it's a saying in the Quran. It says, "Make firm your feet," because your feet, when we get up, when we stand up, when I get up out of this chair, I got to make sure my feet are firm, or I'm gonna fall. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So our feet is our foundation, but our foundation, we got to make a foundation first. We got to make an infrastructure. In this book, Message to the Black Man, a lot of people say, I read it. If you read it, you didn't pay too much attention. It's definitely not in our practice. But in this book, the messenger, one of the things he talks about in his, it says, an economic blueprint. All right? It's not no preaching no pie in the sky when you die. What we gonna do here on the ground while we around?
Right.
That's what we need to. That's what we need to be working on. We got children coming behind us, brother.
Yes.
I have four children. I got 4 grandchildren. Hope to have several more offspring, but we got to have something for them. We can't bring them into this hell and then we done our job. What we trying to provide for them? Are we trying to do anything for them? We gonna let them keep on depending on this white man? Are we serious? Brother, no, it's time out for that. And the messenger said that we was going to be dumped. So and he said that. Now the messenger's been gone now since 1975. What he talked about then is more relevant today than it was then.
Yeah.
He said that this white man was going to dump us. He said that integration was a trick, was a lie. And integration was what put us to sleep. That's when the music started changing. Integration, brother. All of that.
Now, can you elaborate on?
Yes, sir.
We can't hear you, Chazz. I'll go ahead and say it. It says, can you elaborate on one of the 10 points that the Nation of Islam Muslims believe? That's point 5 states, we believe in the resurrection. We believe in the resurrection of the dead, not in a physical resurrection, but in a mental resurrection. What does that mean? This whole ideal of a mental resurrection.
That means to get up from your mental sleep and slumber.
Okay.
Rise up. Resurrection means to rise up. When y'all watched your show last week, you said that that's what resurrection means, and you're 100% correct, bro. But not no physical resurrection. Man, if all the people that died in the past got up, where they gonna be? We gonna have room for them? So we got to think about it. We just got to go back to reality, brother. You see, 1 + 1 = 2, not 5. So we got to go back to what's real. Resurrection means resurrect your thought process. It says, as a man think, so is he and she. We got to raise our thought level, brother. Going back to that Phyllis again, the cat off that boat in 1619. That thought process had been totally eradicated. Now we got to rebuild. We got to reverse that. Just like those 3 generations was dumbed down, then let's build 3 generations up. Let's start now.
Yes.
Maybe we can't get it. I don't expect to get it, but I expect through my seed that they can get it. They can start. We give them a ground to stand on, and then they give the next generation the ground to stand on, and then it goes so forth and so on. Okay. The people that, as Jahi, what you and I were talking about in Mama Linda's, the people that we talk about now, back then, they weren't people that was, thinking about, well, no, I take it back. They were people that were thinking about us back then. That's why they were doing the work they did. So we need to be thinking about those who coming behind us, so that when they look up one day and they can look back at us and say, hey, these people cared about us.
Yes, sir.
And that's what it's all about, brother. Do we care about more than just our own self?
And
that's the thing. We talk about, yes, I love myself, but you talking about your personal self. You don't care nothing about what happened to the man next door.
And that brings me to this question. I'm not going to let you get off this broadcast without asking this question, because last time I spoke with you about it, you laid it out so smooth and plainly, and I want everyone to just relax and listen and open your heart to this question and the answer. Okay, how important then, Brother Rasheed, is unity amongst us, in spite of what a person believes, in spite of where a person lives? Can you address that for me and lay that thing out for me real plainly like you did before? Because it makes so much sense, the importance of unity amongst people that look like us, Black people that have struggled, that have been dealt with, that have been done any way you could imagine. So I'm going to leave it alone now and let you go ahead and just deal with that, please.
It's a unity of death, brother. The messenger says separation or death. But in order to separate, and he talking about separating from this Caucasian and his way of life, we have to unify first. And we have to unify on the basis that we are Black and catching hell here in the wilderness of North America. As has been said before, as Malcolm said, he say, you ain't catching hell because you're a Baptist or Methodist or Catholic or Muslim or Buddha. You catching hell because you're a Black man in the hell's wilderness of North America. Let's come together on that. And the Quran says, I made you into tribes and families so that you may know each other and not despise each other. So we don't have to think the same. We don't have to have the same precepts if we're going to come together to build for ourselves. That's the main precept that we should have, coming together to build for ourselves. Now, if you feel after we come together and build for yourself, if you feel that you're a Christian, you feel you're a Black Jew or whatever, that's okay, that's fine. Right. As long as we don't let that get in the way of us uniting to build for ourselves.
Man, teach, man.
We got, you see, it ain't gonna happen if we don't do it. That's going back to what it said. A lot don't change the condition of a people unless they change their own condition. Because if we waiting on the space to do it, then we can just go on. We might as well go on lay down right now while we we can go to sleep right now. Ain't space gonna take care of it for us.
One of your friends one of your friends, Brother Sharadi, says, teach, Brother Rasheed. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I know that, brother. but that's we got to, it's got to be about those that's coming behind us, brother. That's so if it ain't about that, it ain't about nothing.
Yeah. We got another comment.
Chazz, we're gonna let you say this, read this, let him deal with this, and we'll give him some final thoughts, because it's just about time for us to get out of here. But go ahead and take it away, Chazz, and then we'll sum it up here.
Sister Barbara fires in here. She says, we should be constantly building our children up on a strong foundation and teach them the history of the importance of being who they are and where their ancestors came from and what they had to go through in order to sustain life. It's a well thought out comment. And she's right. We do have to build our children up. They're going through so much, being ridiculed, talked about, mocked. And it's easy for them to fall in depression and isolate. And now you have a generation of kids who just feel, thrown to the wayside. But we have to teach them the importance of their ancestors and what they fought for and how they, were resilient. So that was a well comment by that sister.
Brother Rasheed, I want to ask you something, and I want you to just comment real briefly here. Did you enjoy yourself on this broadcast today?
I always enjoy myself with my people, brother. I love the black man and woman, brother.
Right.
I enjoy myself anytime, especially if we talking about something that's going to be uplifting. And that's you know, I'm on a high right now. You know, I'm talking about a natural high. You know
well,
what I'm saying?
I told you when I invited you on the broadcast that we're going to let you do the majority of the talking, because Chazz and I, as guests, as your host, we sometimes people invite guests on their broadcast, man, and they dominate. But I'm telling you, I am so full from the proper teaching, and I just thank you so much. And I'm going to ask you, I'm putting you on Front Street in front of everyone. Are you going to come back and visit us, man?
Anytime, brother. I love talking to my people, brother.
Yes, sir.
You know,
yes, sir. And I can't explain.
That's one thing the messenger, you know, he did for me. You know, he put it in my heart to want to help our people, you know, in a larger way, not just this superficial way, you know, your clique, your crew. No, you know, we want to help our people, because we all we got, man.
Yes,
and,
sir.
you know, if we don't, as I was telling you, we were talking, Jahi, if we don't do nothing to move the condition of our people, we know better than the people who put us in this condition. We're no better.
Yes, sir.
Matter of fact, we're worse.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know what is done to us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we say, forget it and let it happen to them. Then we deserve to be wiped off the planet, brother.
Wow.
You know, I remember having a discussion with my late brother, who I love him. He ain't here, but, you know, he is here. Mm-hmm. But when I first got in this teaching, you know, we came up kind of on the rough side of the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, man, we don't have to teach these young people, niggas, nothing, because we wasn't taught nothing. And I said, brother, don't you see what that did to us?
Mm-hmm.
We gonna continue this? That's criminal, brother. So we see what this world has done to us, and we gonna continue this? That is absolutely criminal.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely criminal, and we deserve whatever punishment we get if that's the way we're gonna act.
Wow.
Because you know, and that's one of the reasons we losing our children today. If you really think about it, we bought into this integration garbage and got to chasing them people and forgot about us. Everything that we had for ourselves under segregation, it wasn't up to par, but it was ours.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been improved on, but no, instead of improving on it, we gave it up. Me run over there with them. These people don't want you. They done showed you. now we out here without a. They say we ain't got a pot to do nothing in and a window to throw it out of. You know the old saying.
Yes, sir.
So our children upset, man.
Yeah.
So what did you put in place for me? Nothing. Do what I did. Do what I did. What it do for you? This is how they look at us. That's why they not listening. We turn our back on them, brother. We owe them. We owe them.
Chazz, we got to get this brother back on this broadcast, ASAP, because this has been a wonderful show, man. I'm telling you, everyone that's commented for the most part are saying the same thing as far as we're being on one accord. And this is the kind of broadcast where people can sit down and learn. It's not all that nonsense on some platforms where you're going back and forth, arguing, not making sense. The brother has really taught tonight, and we're grateful that black men can sit down and respect one another. Give this brother the platform. Let this brother teach us. We all have to sit down and be taught and learn. And that's what I'm appreciative of tonight. So I'm going to ask Brother Rasheed if he has any final words to say, and then we're going to let him go. And he knows I'm going to call him later on. So, but this is how we're going to do it. But I want to put a comment up here that a sister said that's important. And look at this comment, Chazz. Read that, Chazz.
Sister Cheryl Fires in here. She says, "Keep teaching, my brother. We have to save our own." Yeah. Well said.
That's a schoolmate of mine.
Okay.
We've been knowing each other for at least 50 years.
Okay.
Still hanging on.
Mhm.
Yes. But one thing we have to do is get rid of apathy. We got to stop being so apathetic. We have to try. They say nothing beats a failure but a try. And so we got to, those who feel like we feel. We can't get everybody. It's just the law of averages right now is just not on our side with that. But get with those who think like you, who understand the necessity for group operations. Let's go to work.
From the bottom of our hearts, Brother Rasheed Shabazz, we appreciate you coming on Adults Only Real Conversations and keeping this conversation real. And
Yes.
again, we can't thank you enough for your humility, for your honesty, your integrity, and your character. Because ever since I've met you, man, you've been consistent. And I just noticed that about you, and I just want you to continue to keep doing what you're doing, man. You haven't given up the fight. Sometimes when we get up in age, we feel like we retired, like we on some kind of job, and we throw in the towel. But brother, you motivate me, man. Every time I hear you, I get excited. I have to refrain tonight because I'm normally a little bit much more hyper than this. But tonight, I have to be a student, man, because you're dropping nothing but knowledge, sound wisdom, and advice. And we need to take heed to that. And I say to you again, I thank you, brother. We're going to get you back on this broadcast so you can continue this, because this is not over with, because everyone needs to hear this. As you can see, the comments are steady coming in. When black men can sit down and talk and learn, all you're going to get is a great show. So,
I appreciate you too, Brother Rasheed. You coming on here, giving us wisdom, and as a young man, actually listen to an elder making sense, saying pretty much the same stuff that we've already said without even knowing you. We've been harping this for years about the system, religion, and a lot of these things. And for you to come on and put it into play like that, it was just awesome. So like we said, we hope to have you on again, but I really did appreciate you for coming on tonight.
No problem, brother. I thank you, brothers, for letting me come on and express myself. There's the old saying that if what was in you got to come out. Constipation ain't no good. You know what I mean? So I studied this teaching for 36 years. I got to give it away, man. I can't keep it. What is it going to do to me? Keep it to myself. And you brothers just pass it on. That's what we got to do. Pass it on. Because like I say, we only here for a minute. What's gonna live on is what we do.
Yes.
Not what we say, y'all. What we gonna do to pass on, to give it to those people, so that 2 generations from now they say, man, I remember them people back then. They was in our corner.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
The truth has come with Brother Rasheed Shabazz. We're going to say goodbye to you, brother, but we're going to continue to chop it up, as the young folks say, because I got so much going on in my mind now that I can see that you're going to be helping us do so. You might as well. You're already been recruited, so like it or not, we finna keep this thing going.
Anytime, brother. It's my pleasure.
Okay, we'll see you, brother. All right, peace. Okay, Chazz, let's wrap it up. What you think, man? What you think?
I enjoyed myself. I had a good time, and in fact, I appreciate the people that he brought over from his platform here. He got some of his commenters or viewers to come on. We appreciate all that, but a lot of wisdom from the elder. I mean, he spoke, like I said, all the things we've been saying. He put it into play. I mean, he put it into well-spoken words, and I really enjoy having him on, and hopefully having him on again in the future.
Yeah, we're going to get him back, man, because we need to start networking and communicating with people. And for those who are out there that may say, I like what you brothers are doing, I might want to get on there and say a few things. Well, if you do, we ask you to email us at adultsonlyrealconversations@gmail.com. Again, that's a real conversation. Make that adultsonlyrealconversations@gmail.com. Or if you have a subject you want us to talk about, we'll definitely study it and be able to get it on. But Chazz, I can't say enough about my brother, man. I've talked to him in the past in spots, but tonight he was different, man. And I don't mean he was different in that he doesn't always tell the truth. He was different in that you can tell in his heart, this black man, he loves us. And you see, a lot of times we don't get a chance to hear that because people are always beating us up, putting us down, coming against us. But this man spoke from the core of his soul, man. And we need brothers and sisters like that. And that's what's going to make that change that he's talking about. And I just once again want to just say I can't thank him enough, man. And we're going to definitely continue to talk with him and get him back on here, because this is the time now, man, where everything is in chaos. We need someone who's stable, someone who's servile, someone who cares enough for the people that they're going to give us the truth and not sugarcoat it. Because, Chad, we're in a losing battle unless we do what this brother was saying. And also shout out to our ancestors, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That clip that he was spot on about many of us. We want to be like our oppressor. And that's why we have the mindset that we have. We have to, unite, do what the brother said. So having said that, Chazz, I'll give you the final words, and then we can get out of here, and we'll see you all next week. So if you haven't subscribed to Adults Only Real Conversations, every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, you'll see Chazz and myself. And then also every first Tuesday and third Tuesday at 6:30 on YouTube, The Jahi and the Kev Show. We'll be back next month, brand new subject. So once again, we thank you, and take us away, Chazz.
Well, I appreciate you for having me on and having our brother Shabazz on. But tonight was a well thought out podcast. It was basically about us making change. We can sit here and talk a lot, but like the brother mentioned, we have to actually teach our youth this information, because they're being left by the wayside. No guidance, no hope, nobody in their corners, and it can feel hopeless. But like this brother kept mentioning tonight, we have to share this information to them so that way they can be prepared for life as well, so they don't feel so neglected and forgotten. And he also talked about how the music and how the culture has shifted from the 70s into now. Even the people back then, it seemed like they were more on fire. They had integrity. They wanted to fight. Now, a lot of people, like I keep mentioning, they don't have any more fight in them. But once again, we hope you guys log in next week. We appreciate the brother Shabazz for having us on, for coming on here. And I hope to see you guys again next week.